Hi, my name is Whitney Mileham. Welcome to my channel. Today is part one of a series on how I gained over 200 pounds in about 15 years. This is going to be a very hard series for me, I think, but I think it's important for me to share a little bit more of my story. You don't gain 200 pounds overnight, and it's not just from being lazy and not exercising. I've spent my entire life combating my weight, my body image, and trying to figure out why this affects me and not other people. I thought about just making a single video of how I gained the weight, but it's been a slow process, and I decided that I want to break it out into different times of my life, starting with today's video, which is grade school, and then the next video will be about high school and so on. So this is really the very beginning of my weight gain story. Just a little plug, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when I post the other parts of this story. So, where to start? I don't know when I really started gaining weight as a kid. I just remember being chubby. I wasn't extremely active or anything like that. We just weren't, in general, a very active family. I remember in 4th grade, so I guess I would have been 10 years old, the last day of school, that Friday, we finished classes, and I remember talking to my parents that night and saying, can we start a diet? I don't think I explicitly said Weight Watchers, but my parents found a meeting near us the next day, Saturday morning, and we went and we signed up, and I was clearly the youngest person there by probably a decade almost. And at 10 years old, I weighed in at 144 pounds. And for my height at the time, I should have been 120 pounds. And so that was my goal weight. And we went grocery shopping immediately after the meeting with our newfound information. I remember that first grocery trip we found these natural ovens cookies. I think they were probably oats or something like that. And they had carob chips in them instead of chocolate. And we didn't eat before we went to the meeting, so we opened that in the grocery store and each had one. I distinctly remember that because I thought, why are we opening this? And I remember thinking, this is healthy eating, okay, cool, this is exciting. And for the next couple years, I taught myself how to eat according to the Weight Watchers plan at the time. And Weight Watchers has changed quite a bit in the last decade and a half. I think they have smart points now. They've changed how they treat vegetables and fruits and things like that. And that's how I ate for the next couple years. I remember hitting 20 pounds lost and being so proud that I had done that. It took a long time, but I felt really accomplished. Towards the end of us doing Weight Watchers, I was about to enter 7th grade. So I had done this through 5th grade and 6th grade, and I was about to start 7th grade, and my weight loss had just slowed and slowed and slowed, and nothing seemed to be working. I was within a pound of my goal weight, which was 120 pounds. All the instructors were waiting for me to get to that goal, and I remember going in and thinking, okay, this, hopefully I get there this week, and I had gone up a little bit instead. So the lead instructor said, have we adjusted for your new height? Because you've grown a little bit in the last 2 years and some. We all said no, and so they said, okay, let's take your height again and see what your goal weight really should be. And so we did that. And basically they said that I was within a healthy range and we should just say that I hit my goal weight. And so we had this whole, celebration thing in the meeting. I got to go up and get my lifetime membership and all of that. And on the inside, I still felt like I failed. I didn't meet my goal. And not in so many words, but I thought that they were rationalizing the fact that I couldn't meet it, which is so silly looking back on it, but I was a kid. I didn't understand it, and I felt like I had failed. But I kept that to myself, and I moved on, and I went back to school expecting to, have heads turn and, people were gonna notice that I had lost this weight. In reality, I'd been losing it for 2 years. And so there wasn't going to be this magical reveal. I had just thinned out as I grew. So I was a little disappointed with that. I was more disappointed when I started getting bullied. I feel like most of the people that I've talked to have dealt with some kind of bully in grade school or high school. They're the worst, aren't they? I would have expected it while I was overweight, but in 7th grade, I had gotten to a healthy weight. I was almost 5'5", 121 pounds, developed early, and looking back, I looked great. I looked like a run-of-the-mill preteen. I had a good body, a healthy body, which is why it was so confusing for me when the boys in the grade above me and one in my class and one below me started to tease me. I still don't know how it started. I don't know why it started, but those boys started to call me man cow and moo at me. That was hilarious to them. It went on for several months. Towards the end of the year, we had our track and field day and we were practicing high jump, and we had a really janky bar for the high jump, and people would fall on it all the time if they didn't make their jump, and it had bent a few times. But for some reason, I missed the jump once and landed on the bar, and it was hilarious to them, and they all started mooing, and I was gutted by it. I felt so embarrassed. It made me want to be invisible. It made me want to disappear. There was a worse time, though. One day I stayed inside during recess and was working on some math homework or something, and our teacher pulled out the boombox with a recording of Proud to Be an American because we were going to practice it for our end of the year concert. He had recorded it from a radio station for us to practice, and we got to the end. Suddenly there is this really loud cow moo, and it was supposed to signal people to call in to get like state fair tickets or something like that. My heart simultaneously fell into my stomach and up into my throat. I knew exactly how it was going to play out. I knew what was going to happen. And sure enough, we get to music class at the end of the day, and we decide to practice Proud to Be an American. All I can think of the whole time we're singing that song is, please let him turn it off before it gets to that sound. Please. And of course, he didn't. And of course, the boys thought it was hilarious. And of course, they all mooed at me. It's funny because none of them liked to sing, and suddenly they were just this chorus of moos in my direction. And he was oblivious. He thought that they were just laughing about the sound, and not that it was directed at me. And again, that feeling of wishing that I could be invisible came to me. I remember trying for like a week to be anorexic because I thought, I'll physically shrink myself, I'll lose that last pound so that they don't see me anymore, or at least not that way. I kind of said it nonchalantly to a friend who did the right thing and told her dad, and her dad called my mom and we had a talk, and I finally told her what was happening with these boys, and she reached out to one of the boys' parents who was a teacher, and I don't know how it all played out from there, but it stopped. But just because it stopped didn't mean that I stopped feeling it. I still believed that I was big. 8th grade surprisingly wasn't that much better for me. All but one of the boys had either graduated or left. It stopped coming from the outside, but it was still coming from the inside. And there was a time when I practiced some self-harm because I hated my body. I must have thought that I was getting back at a body that had hurt me. It doesn't make sense. I know that now. I have to eventually let go of the taunting and the bullying and the teasing. I honestly thought that I would be over it by now. And it's not something I think about all the time. I don't sit and dwell on it, but it kind of tucks itself away into the folds of your personality as you grow. If you nurture this young soul with toxicity while she's growing, it's going to be embedded. It's going to be in her roots. It's going to be part of who she is at her core. I don't know that I have anything that I would tell that little girl yet. I do wish that that girl could see who I am now and all of the great things that I'm so fortunate to have in my life. I wish that she could see that, but at the same time, if she had, maybe she wouldn't have worked as hard to get to this point. So this part of the story is really just my first diet, and it sets us up for the next part of the story, which I will share next Monday. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have also dealt with bullies in the past. I will talk to you on Wednesday. Bye!